again, YouTube? This is Dr.Kendo, and we're here with Scribblenauts Unmasked. This is the new Scribblenauts game. It's basically the next installment in the series after Unlimited. And so I play on the Wii U, and I create gaming-related characters, and that's pretty much all that I'm doing right now. I used to do it in the object editor, but now that we're playing Unmasked here, we're in the hero creator. That's what they call it in this game. It's basically the same thing. It's just we've got a lot more stamps because we've got a lot more humanoid characters to use, i.e. the heroes and the villains that are in this game. So we're basically just starting out with the body of a villain named Key, and Key is actually if we want to go with the silver generation, and for the head I want to use General Zod. But first, what exactly am I creating here? Well, we have a request that came from LOL Man 2762 and Mario Man 81811, who have both asked for Solid Snake from Metal Gear. So I've never played a Metal Gear game in my life, but of course I know who Snake is, I know a little bit about him, and of course I've played Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where Snake was a character in there. So I'm gonna be working on my background as best as I can via those channels and everything. I'm looking at a Google image of Snake right now to get this picture. This is kind of just how he appeared in Brawl, is the model that we're gonna go after. But yes, I'm not taking object requests right now. I will announce in about a week and a half that the object requests will open. I'm thinking about ending object requests altogether after that. We'll see, but that's a thought that's floating around in my mind. So we're gonna make a headband here. That's all you have to type in is headband. This, of course, gets us Snake's headband. But his headband is actually really huge, so what I need to do here is actually make two of them and flip the other one around so that the shape is kind of a little bit more rounded out. His headband does go pretty much down to his eyes, or his eyebrows, approximately. And so this looks about right. Colored it black, of course, because he's got this dark grayish black headband. Now there's something in the torso library, that's what I'm gonna call it here for your stamp items. It looks like these two little jagged, almost lightning bolt-esque shapes, but I guess they go on the body of somebody. I haven't recognized that yet. You know, I'm very new to the game still, but of course not new to object creation. But I'm gonna use that, of course, and paint it the blackish gray color for the headband, so that's gonna show the little pieces of the headband coming off where it's tied in the back. So now we're gonna go with a character named Pandora. Yeah, I think this is a girl character from what I can judge, but you know, I am a comic book geek, but not to the full extent that most comic book geeks are, because I do enjoy comics. I love superheroes. I'm absolutely crazy about superheroes and villains and their whole stories and everything, but this game absolutely can stump me. I mean, it's pretty easy to stump me, I would say, with this, because they have some really obscure characters like the Fisherman. You know, it's like, where does that come from? And I didn't even know what Key comes from. But what's great about this game is that you can read everything in the Bat computer. So for instance, we're typing a hero called Johnny Quick right here. You can actually go read about him in the Bat computer, as well as any of these superheroes and supervillains, and even their equipment. You can read about lots of their equipment. So this game has a lot in the realm of superheroes and whatnot being introduced into Scribblenauts. I want to give Snake the illusion more that he's wearing gloves. So we're going to go ahead and use a fingerless glove. It looks kind of strange in this game, I know, but this is kind of just the way that I want to do it and make sure that there's a little bit more detail and stuff in his arms here. And one obstacle I would say with using Key as the torso, that character named Key, is that he does actually have keys, the objects right there down at his belt level. So I'm going to need to cover that with something, and I haven't quite decided yet, but my thought is maybe a gun or one of his satchels. So we'll put a gun here. It looks like I need to map the torso. One thing that is new about this is that in Scribblenauts Unlimited, all of the torsos, they basically had the hips and the upper body all together. You know, you didn't have to separate that or anything. In this game, sometimes these heroes and villains, you know, they have a separate upper body and lower body part, and that's just excluding the legs and the arms. That just means, you know, the actual torso pieces. And so the gun is going to be basically like a gun that's holstered, attached to his belt or something, and he always has these bags. I guess that Snake probably has lots of gear in these bags. Again, I don't know exactly what's in the bag, but they're just these little tiny bags. Possibly he's got grenades or something, I don't know. Actually, speaking of that, it looks like in this, he's got a flashbang or some kind of smoke bomb or grenade or something like that here on his belt that goes across his chest. So what I've typed here is flashbang, and that's what comes up. It looks like the one from the old Scribblenauts, so Scribblenauts Unlimited. It's basically all these objects are the same, except for now we have all these superheroes and things like that. They didn't really update the image of like the gun, for instance. They do have a lot more guns though, because there are some villains and stuff, or heroes, or whoever that use guns. So like you can use, there's like a .45 caliber pistol in this game. It's somebody's gun. shotgun, I don't remember. But coloring everything, there are a lot of strange, I guess, matte colors here that are involved with Snake's color palette, but it looks like I'm accomplishing those mostly how I wanted to. So that actually, yeah, I mean, now that I'm stepping back and seeing the whole character all together, it does look good. And so I started off with a man as the source object, and the reason is because you can actually start off, of course, with the villain that I used, if I wanted to start off with Key, but then everything on the field and everything in the levels would react to him as the villain Key. Even if you changed the objects react to it as whatever you use the source object for, if it's a hero or a villain, then heroes and villains are going to react to it as they would that hero or villain. Does that make sense? So if I would have made him a hero character, then villains would have attacked him just because he's a hero. So it's like, you can't exactly get by without that. So I just figured, hey, if I do man, he'll at least be some kind of neutral character. Of course, the neutral humanoids, as I'm going to call them, basically, anything that's not a hero or villain in this game, they all walk sort of strange. It's kind of a weird way that they walk. It's different than Scribblenauts Unlimited. So they do have actually some new animations as far as that goes. The heroes and the villains actually have a lot of new animations, and maybe I can show that a little bit later on in the video or something. But I want to do some minor scripting. Again, I don't like to go too far in depth with my scripting and whatnot. I just figure I'll leave that up to everybody else who watches my videos, because they'll download my objects and then they'll edit it and script it how they want to themselves. And so I would love if everybody commented though and just said, how do you like the new Unmasked as far as my videos go? Do you like seeing this object editor now become the hero creator and see, what we can do with all these heroes and whatnot? Let me know if you think it's better. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's pretty awesome to be able to have the Bat computer, because, it allows me to look at all the heroes' heads and torsos and arms and everything beforehand. So you see how he's walking? He's walking like kind of like his head goes a little bit back when he walks and stuff. It's kind of strange, but that's just what I figured I would do. I did want to make a few modifications though. I want to make sure that, Snake, of course, whenever he sees the spotlight, whenever it hits him or whatever, it makes that high-pitched sound, and then he's got the exclamation point above his head. And so I want him to express that emotion. So let's go ahead and just do like spotlight, I guess. We're going to type that in and see what that yields as far as the results go. So there we go, spotlight. We got to see which one we're going to pick here. And man, there's kind of a lot of choices. I guess I'll just go with the photography equipment. But we're also just going to generally do lights, because that's kind of more what I'm looking for. So if there's a big light that he sees or whatever, he's going to make the little exclamation point come up. And I want to be sure that he is taller than Maxwell. I know that Maxwell is basically a kid, I think, or at least to some degree. Maybe he's a teenager by this point if he actually ages. But I mean, hey, he's got a magical notebook. He could probably make some kind of anti-aging cream or something. I don't know. But I did make two snakes. If you saw, there was a snake actually right next to this where we were there. They other snake that I made, I kind of learned the hard way about the hero-villain thing, because I made him just using Key as the source object, and that's when I found out that, hey, see, here he is. Solid S is what I had to name him so he'd be different. But you see how he's attacking everybody? He's a villain, so it wasn't right. I didn't want that to happen. So let's just bring back our regular Solid Snake on the field and check him out. But yes, we are in the Bat Cave. The Bat Cave is basically where you go for the hero creator. It's unfortunate because there's not just an object editor button, aka hero creator button, like there was for the object editor. You used to be able to just check the middle button, and it was in the top right corner. You used to be able to just tap that and go into the object editor. But here things are a little bit different. But that's okay. This Solid Snake looks pretty good. Now I also had a Metal Gear related request from Superman 34522, and he actually said, can you make Naked Snake? And he said, don't forget the eye patch. And so I have made Naked Snake. I actually used none of the characters that I used for Solid Snake to make Naked Snake, but he is created out of a villainous character. It was Clock King. So Clock King is the body right here that you're seeing, and I used just some random characters like Hush was for the legs, and Captain Stingery is the head, and I used some hair stamps to give him some hair and whatnot, and of course have made the headband and whatever, and so he's got a eye patch, because Captain Stingery already has the eye patch on him, so I thought it worked out pretty good. So, Naked Snake, again, I don't know a whole lot about the games, and it's kind of confusing when I was looking up his background, but I guess he is Big Boss, and he's gone through other code names, I guess, but I used the image of him basically circa 1970. That's what it said on the website that I was looking at, so I think that's his 1970 look. It looks kind of like Solid Snake, but whatever. I apologize again. I'm still kind of sick. I'm still dealing with nose problems and quite a bit of a cough, so if my voice does sound different, I will get better better probably by next week, but geez, it's been really nagging at me, so basically anything that involves an "in" that I've had to say is probably kind of straining me here. But again, I'm not taking object requests right now, so I'm gonna have to ask, please don't request anything in the comments. But of course, just let me know what you're thinking. And so I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.